The simple fix for feeling better and not aching all the time, it'll take a big chunk out of the badness, is stop treating our bodies like a garbage can.
Welcome back. Today we have part 2 of my interview with Dr. Vonda Wright, orthopedic surgeon, brilliant woman who's really taken over Instagram. If you don't follow her Instagram account, you are missing out. We were talking before we did the first interview, and I said, how does it feel to be so dedicated to longevity and health and helping women for decades? And she said, it's just so great to be able to help so many more people. I mentioned it before, but she's been instrumental. Me learning from her, it helped me change my health, helped me get energy, helped me get strong, helped me to understand how to take care of myself. And as we talk about today, the science behind it. Because I think that we hear, oh, you should do this, you should do that, and it's just in one ear, out the other. But when you understand the science behind why things work and the science why you want to do certain things, you want to do certain things physically, you want to eat a certain way, you want to do these things, you realize, oh, this matters because this is the reaction happening in my body. And it's just a puzzle piece. If I don't put this part of the puzzle in, everything is still going to stay broken. So it's a mystery. It is fun to put these pieces in. It is a bit of a game for me, and I love it. We talk about supplements. We talk about more things in the body. We talk about building your bones and building your muscle and how your gut microbiome affects your bones. This is fun stuff because once it starts clicking and once we understand it, you can feel so much better. I promise you. So thank you for joining back in for part 2. I introduced Dr. Wright in the first one. I'm going to do it again because she deserves it. She is a nationally recognized orthopedic surgeon. She's an expert in the science of aging well. And she's just an all-around amazing woman. If you have little ones listening, there's a wee tiny bit of language in this episode. Nothing we can't handle, not a big deal, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. So welcome to part 2 with Dr. Wright. I saw a reel recently about, you're a woman over 30 when you have car ibuprofen. And the comments were like, I have car ibuprofen and this. And I was like, we shouldn't feel that bad.
Yeah.
We don't have to feel that bad. We don't need car ibuprofen.
You know what's something that a quick fix that actually works? People are amazed when they actually follow through on this, and it's not ibuprofen, but it works on the same thing. You take ibuprofen, not you, but car ibuprofen is taken because we have inflammatory pain. Inflammatory pain. I tell people to do this all the time. I lead 10-day detoxes for this. I just had a guy recently, it was a guy, sorry gals, a guy who did this when I told him to because his knees were killing him. And he just did the hard work of detoxing from sugar and he has no body pain. I have done this. When I detox from sugar, I have no body pain.
Yeah, sugar's the killer.
The simple fix for feeling better and not aching all the time, it'll take a big chunk out of the badness, is stop treating our bodies like a garbage can.
Yeah, there's no way to get around it with sugar. It's so terrible for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel it, when I'm going out for dessert. I'm having dessert tonight. I pay for it. I'm stiff. I'm painful. I'm foggy. It's not worth it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the quick fix that I have in my pocket for if you don't want to feel really terrible. Let's start with that. Just one thing.
Yeah. And natural sugar is so good. Fruit's amazing. Because once you're not on fake sugar, it makes fruit taste great. And
sweeter,
it's
right? Everything's sweeter because your taste buds can taste it. But I still want people to treat fruit as their dessert. I don't want them to eat fruit until noon. I mean, there's a famous influencer that does that. Good for him. But I want you to eat it as dessert.
Tell me more about managing fruit in a smart way. I'd love to learn.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not anti-fruit at all. I'm anti-fruit juice. We cannot start our day with a glass of good for us orange juice because it's 500 calories of digested sugar and it's going to spike our blood sugar. It's going to make us drop our blood sugar, be exhausted a couple hours later. If you want fruit, I want you to eat the whole fruit. Do not drink apple juice. Eat the fruit with the white fiber, with the skin, so that you get the value of all those nutrients and the fiber, right? I feel the same way about oranges and blueberries, for instance. Eat the whole fruit. Eat it as dessert, because if you eat it first, it is digested very quickly. It's going to spike your blood sugar, and then you may have some of the same reactions you have before. So coat it in a protein. Put your berries in a bowl of yogurt. Not you, but people.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. I heard what you said. Coat it in protein some way, or eat it after your protein. Eat it after your egg white omelet in the morning. Finish with your berries. Don't start with your berries, so that there's not quite the sugar rush surrounding it. And then
Do
you
you
get
want to
your
know
fiber
my
too.
most delicious berry trick that
What is that?
includes collagen? Okay, so in a bowl, I
Uh-huh.
do collagen with Fortabone, the good stuff in it, because I'm trying to grow my bones.
Yeah.
And then I add a little bit of chocolate protein powder, vegan, because I can't have the whey,
Mhm.
frozen berries, and a half of a tablespoon of sun butter, so sunflower seed butter.
Oh, I've never.
And then a half a tablespoon of basil seeds, and I mix it up, and it's the most delicious thing I've ever eaten.
Sounds good,
That's my
especially the
dessert.
cocoa powder in there.
Mhm.
What do basil seeds give you? I don't know that.
It's like chia seeds, but no net carbs,
Oh, really? Is it just
left over from my keto days, and they taste the same as chia
Uh-huh.
seeds, but no net carbs.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to
Okay, now I wanna talk about stress and aging for
Yeah.
women who want to manage stress. What besides the obvious signs of stress, like
Mhm,
chest palpitations and things where women would know, "I'm completely stressed," because I think stress sometimes is silent. Our
mhm,
bodies are in a constant stress state, at least that's the way it was for me before I got it under control. I
mhm,
realized only through my wearables that I was constantly in fight or flight and had to get it under control.
mhm.
What are some signs that women may not know that we're living constantly stressed, and how does that accelerate our aging?
You know, I think we are stressed when we're ruminating, meaning
Mm,
we can't let go of a thought. We think it over and over again, whether it's as simple as what should I have said in that conversation, or what happens if, or we can't let go of just something. I think that creates more stress because there's never a downtime for our brain. Our brains are connected to our bodies, right? I think we may be exhibiting stress not all the time because I fidget a lot and not because I'm stressed. We just can't rest. We can't just sit down. We have to be moving. If we're not doing it, nobody's doing it. It's just the physical manifestation of our overthinking,
mm,
our overdoing, which can be stressful. I think all things being equal, disturbed sleep can be a sign of stress that we're just not aware of, right? My dentist will tell me that grinding my teeth is a sign of stress at night, right? He's like, "When you gonna let me fit you for that thing?" I'm like, "I wouldn't wear it anyways." So,
You don't have a night guard yet? I thought all women over 40 had a night
well,
guard.
he wants me to, but I know that I'm just gonna leave it on the bedside table. So we're dealing with that. I know when I'm stressed because my TMJ is painful,
Mhm.
right? I know
Mhm.
that it manifests. So these little stresses that we just think are a normal part of life, or my high pain tolerance that everybody comes in with, right? We just accept it. Or even things like I'm just beginning to think about these things, all the unprocessed trauma that we've just accepted. For instance, all the medical people out there, as I start describing what I've seen in my training, and there are really horrible stories that we just accept as part of what happens in a hospital, not because the hospital was bad, but the things patients go through with their illnesses
Mhm.
or their trauma. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I see people who run into trees, right? I know. But you just live through that and you do your job,
Yeah.
and there's never any decompression. You just go home like that's normal to see somebody run over by a train. I know that that is a weird example, but I think all of us in our lives see things, have to do things, that we just accept as normal, but it becomes bundled up. And the reason I say this now is because when I start to tell those stories involuntarily, I tear up. And I
Mhm.
think that is unset processed trauma from my 20s when I was a cancer nurse or my early residency. So I think we all carry those things. Like, why am I crying at this movie? Or where is that reaching me? We carry those things. But stress keeps us in a constant alertness, like you're going to be eaten by a bear. It never lets our chemistry settle into a recovery rhythm. And if you're wearing a wearable, you know that, you know. I wore a Whoop for a long time. I still love Whoop. It's my chosen wearable. I was barely ever recovered. And
Same, but yeah.
yeah, I never reached like 90% recovery. I'm like, I don't know else what to do. It's just
And talk about the effect that has on our body with our aging and our
well,
longevity.
it causes a state of chronic inflammation. We know
Mhm.
that many besides metabolic dysfunction, a lot of our aging processes are due to chronic inflammation, which
Mhm.
ages us faster, right?
Mm.
And it's hard to measure because we don't have a really accurate biological clock right now. I think the biological clocks we have are a little bit of cocktail games, not really
Yeah.
great great reproducible science. We'll get there. We will. It makes us feel aged. It makes us look aged. I can tell here's something about the stress of pain. When my patients come into me and they're in tremendous pain, I've not yet fixed them or something, they wear the pain and stress in their face. And maybe I've known them for 6 months or maybe I've just met them. It is remarkable. They are different people. When I have fixed them, they are out of pain. Their countenance is different. They look like different people because the stress of pain is no longer there. It's remarkable how we wear it differently, how calm. I just had a guy, he has diabetes, he has a terrible shoulder. I don't like steroid injections, but I didn't wanna give him a steroid injection because I know that a certain percentage of people, I'll spike his blood sugar to a dangerous level.
Mm.
He was in so much misery. He was just unbelievable pain. So I gave in. We made a plan for checking his blood sugar. I went to my PT department yesterday and there he is. He's a different person because pain and the stress of it changes us. The inflammation of it changes us. So what we can do about it is be conscious that that's what it is, right? Be conscious of it so that we can take action steps. We're not piling fire onto the fire. We're not filling ourselves with food that then makes us more inflamed. We're just sitting in a chair, which is not going to do anything for dissipating stress. Maybe we go for a walk, put our feet in the sand if we're fortunate enough to live somewhere where there's some water, right? But even those little steps will help dissipate some of this chronic stress inside.
That's such a great point. Let's talk about the gut microbiome and bone health. Both things are so important. How do they play in together?
Well, we are in the midst of discovering all the truth pathways because, again, people think bones are these solitary, silent entities sticking to themselves. Bones are an endocrine organ. Bones make hormones that go to a variety of places in our body to communicate. And there is a gut bone axis, not only because the gut is where we absorb our calcium and
Mhm.
therefore store it in our bones, but because the bacteria in our microbiome through mechanisms that we are still working out, control the dynamic remodeling of bones. What's interesting is that as we age, our gut microbiome changes. We
Mhm.
absorb nutrients less well. We need methylated forms of the nutrients we normally took, and then our actual food intake changes. We eat less because we're trying to be this big. We may not be absorbing well due to the changes in the villi in our gut. So, I wish that I could tell you right now that here are the 3 definite pathways on this axis, but that's what's being worked out in science right now, knowing that because of changes in the bacteria, changes in our absorption, changes in the way we eat, that a sick gut or an obese gut has profound changes on building bone. So that's as much as I can give you today about it. But the bone talks to the brain. There's a bone brain pathway, there's a bone gut pathway, there's a bone pancreas pathway. Everybody's talking.
So fascinating.
It
I mean,
is.
I can't even imagine what the science is gonna say in 5 years, and 10 years. It just
So rapid. And, I'm really hopeful that the thought experiments that can happen with AI propel what we know faster.
Oh, absolutely. You mentioned NAD before. I'd love to learn more about that from you and what we can do to support that in our own bodies.
NAD is a coenzyme in more than 400 of our normal chemistry pathways. It's a substance we have in abundance in our youth, and it naturally declines with age due sometimes to the availability of the precursors to make NAD plus or the rate limiting enzymes that convert the precursors to NAD plus. But we need a supply of this, and I can tell you that when we measure it, normal levels, intracellular levels for youngish people are in the 60s.
Mhm.
When I had my NAD plus measured intracellularly, it was 18. Well, no wonder I was exhausted in the afternoon, not able to really get through my day. So what I decided to do was supplement. Now I've chosen to supplement with NMN.
Mhm.
We should not just take whole NAD plus. Our body needs to make it. So you
Mhm.
can supplement with NMN, which is one reaction away from the final molecule, or NR. NR actually has a lot of research behind it. It's a B vitamin. In
Mhm.
two chemical reactions, it makes NAD plus. But if you feed your body those building blocks, you will have adequate synthesis of NAD plus to fuel all your normal chemistry. And I can tell you it's made a huge difference for me because I'm bopping around like this until I start my sleep routine about 8:30. So it's made a huge difference. But there's a lot of play around it now, whether you're supplementing with NR or NMN, but you must take the precursor and let your body convert it, not just take or I get whole IVs of the molecule because it still has to get into your cell, right?
I take that supplement as well. I've been on it for a couple of months and I've seen my energy increase, but somehow in the Instagram algorithm, I'm always getting the ads for injections. And I'm like, I don't think I need that. I think I need the precursor. So
You
I'm glad
do.
to hear that from the
Yes,
expert.
please do that.
Let's talk about the face protocol in the new book. This is fantastic.
Yeah. So you know what this is the way I prescribe exercise all these 20 years that
Mhm.
we've been talking about because I found we need a mnemonic to remember. So face your future. It's four things: flexibility and joint motion.
Mm.
And I'll tell you what that means. Aerobic exercise, carrying a load, FAC, carrying a load. And I purposely don't call it weightlifting because we can lift logs, we can lift 5-pound buckets, we can do a lot. Everything counts. Although I do like people to lift heavy. And then FACE is equilibrium and foot speed.
Mm.
So people hear me talking about all the time about base training and sprint training. I ad nauseum in this book. Carrying a load, they're used to me talking about that. But if we choose a couple things that are less well known but critically important, are the flexibility and joint motion. We become people who are hunched over, shuffling, very slow gait because we lose our soft tissue pliability and then we lose our joint motion. So if we can't move our knee through a full range of motion, we are sentenced to walking with a shuffling gait. Same with our hips, right? And so we can work on our flexibility every day. In fact, we should work on both our static and dynamic. And that's what Pilates and yoga are amazing for. I
Mhm.
endorse those for the F in face. Then you have aerobic. Then you have carrying a load. E is equilibrium and foot speed. What do I mean by that? Most of us lose our balance starting in our late 20s. We're reaching for something, we topple over. We can't stand on one foot. I test this in people every day in my clinic, and we're falling over. Well, one of the reasons we get injuries when we're trying to do sports is because running, for instance, is a single leg sport. You must be able to balance on one leg for a microsecond. And if you're all wobbly and falling off, it's going to create bad motion patterns. So we retrain our balance. Recently, I showed pictures of standing on one leg when you brush your teeth, or doing a little exercise called a balance reach, which is basically standing on one leg and pointing your toe to 12, pointing your toe to 3, pointing it to 6, and just forcing your body to retrain. And it's not that hard. The other thing that all of my people are asked to learn to do is agility training. Now, we think of agility as sprint runners or people trying to be fast, speed racers. But the fact of the matter is we lose our type 2 muscle fibers with age. And so we can't fire our muscles as fast. We need to retrain what we have to be able to step over the bag that I leave at the side of my desk and trip over, or not trip over our little dog, but be able to step to the side quickly and regain our balance, right? And so we can train that. And what I've written into the book are the exact agility protocols that we use in some of our pro athletes.
That's amazing.
Yes, everybody can learn to do it.
Oh, that's great. Well, I remember reading that when you get to a certain age, most people don't know how to skip anymore. We just
Oh,
lose our
yes,
ability to skip.
skipping has gotten really hot these days. Someone was
Yeah, I
yeah,
I went out in my neighborhood to see if I could still skip, and luckily I
he's
can still skip,
yeah.
but like once a month now I'm like, "Well, I better skip for a little bit because I don't wanna not be able to skip."
It takes a lot of coordination, but skipping is not only good for maintaining coordination, it's good for bone density, it's good for fast twitch muscles, and it is a good substitute for sprinting.
Oh,
If we
I
can't
like a
sprint,
substitute for
we
sprinting.
can skip and get our heart rates up. In fact, when I was a track and field athlete in high school, boy, I rarely refer to high school, but I am today. I would get really bored with running. Like, it's boring, right? Or even I was training for marathons when I was a med student. I would skip. You can cover a lot of ground, and somehow it breaks up the monotony. So there you go.
I love that. Okay. I know sprinting's important, but I'm really glad that there are replacements for sprinting.
There
So that brings me a lot of joy.
And you know what? It's about your heart rate. So if you don't wanna do it on the ground, you use a
Mm,
rowing machine or an alpine
yeah.
or a bike. I mean, it's just about your heart rate.
No, that's great. Well,
Yeah.
this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. A couple fun questions. What is a product that you're using recently that made you tell a friend she needed to have it?
Oh, you know what? I just got a bottle of the one skin cream that works at a buy I know it is a longevity cream for women, and it works on senescent cell load in the skin.
No way.
Uh-huh, because I don't like the crepey thing that's happening with my skin. And I've put it on and I've just used it 2 weeks. I have no endorsements from this company. It's really helped a lot. So the one skin cream, it works at a cellular level on senescence, and there are studies backing it up. So, yeah.
I'm really excited about that
Oh,
because I'm always like, well, I could use this expensive skin cream or this, but there's no science behind it. So in my mind, I'm like, how is that better than Aquaphor? I can't imagine.
yep,
But there's science behind that. That's amazing.
there is.
That's great. Well, tell me what you're excited about these days.
You know what? We have a lot of things to be excited about in our lives. Our children are getting married, we're having grandchildren. I've written this book, but I am really excited about the fact that I think the best is yet to come. You know, I am firmly past midlife. And I was telling my husband the other day, I'm about to, I'll tell, it's going to tell people my age. I've been out of high school for 40 years. And if I live as long as I want to live, it's another 40 years.
Yeah.
I have another whole life I get to live. And maybe this was prep or life number one for just getting to what the best is yet to come.
Oh, I love that. And my mom tells me all the time that having grandchildren is way better than children. So it seems like the next 40 years with grandchildren is going to be pretty amazing.
So good.
I love it. Well, tell everyone where to find you and tell everyone why we need this new book from you.
Yep. So please, people, I am on Instagram every day at Dr. Vonda Wright. My website is the same, Dr. Vonda Wright, Dr. Vonda Wright. And listen, even though there are still women in my practice who have never heard about menopause, I think we're beginning to crack the ice. So I think there are so many good resources for menopause. But what I found is that I need to tell you what to do next. Now that you recognize what's going on, what is the plan for making the best of life to come? And that's what Unbreakable is. I have a galley. Can I show it?
Please do.
Yep. Building an unbreakable future, aging with power, is both building mental and physical resilience at a body level, at a tissue level, at a cellular level, so that we can do whatever we want to do when we want to do it for the rest of our lives.
Amen to that. I love it. Thank you for making time to come back to the show. I'd have you on twice a year forever and ever. Amen. I think you're
Yeah.
amazing. And again, thank you for your work because it has completely transformed my health. I'm so grateful.
That means so much to me. Thank you so much.
How wonderful is she, right? I'm giving away copies of her book. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure that you're subscribed and you leave a comment. If you're listening, take a screenshot, put it on your story, and tag me and tag Dr. Vonda Wright, and you'll be entered to win a book. Thank you for being here. Thank you for learning these things. Thank you for learning the science and the mechanics about why we do what we do. Once we understand how important things are, and once we understand, oh, if I do this, I'm actually going to feel great, then we can start changing our behavior. And the reason we do this is because we matter. You matter. You deserve to feel better. You deserve to be strong. You deserve to be vibrant. You deserve for the second half of your life to be even better than the first half. I'm obsessed with this topic right now. I love this topic because it is so important for us all. So thank you for being here. Thank you for learning and growing and building a healthier, stronger, and more joyful life one step at a time. It's my joy to get to coach you and cheer you on and remind you that with God, you have what it takes. So keep stepping up, keep showing up and loving well, because you can't break a woman who gets her strength from God. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. I have to put you on hold for a second. My son just started mowing outside my office window. He's moving them.